Welcome to Hero Club members only.
The show where Nick Williams and George Primavera, the founders of Hero Club, talk about Hero Club, D&D, and whatever the hell else we want with whoever the hell else we want. I'm Nick Williams.
And I'm George Primavera, and let's do this.
Welcome to Hero Club members only. Glad to have you. This is where we talk about all the things that we don't get to say on the show, 'cause that's not our thing. Welcome to Hero Club members only.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again for another episode of Members Only.
I hope you all are having a very comfortable isolation right now and cozy in your quarantines, nice and settled in at this point.
Yeah,
Day
you guys
45 or whatever it is.
What are days? I hope you guys are well stocked. Your pantries are full. Today, we have a very special guest. You may recognize her voice from such awesome characters as Lilia Randazzo from Here There Be Monsters, Ember from Adversary, or maybe Reagan Cross from the Rift Rats. It's Hannah Fagerbakke. Hannah, how you doing?
Hello, I am just dandy. How are y'all?
We're great. How are you doing? Where are you quarantining?
Where I'm quarantining and where I am currently are two different places, but I'm quarantining.
Hannah.
I know, but I don't have a nice mic set up at my apartment.
Keep it two apartments max. That's my rule.
Well,
Three
yeah.
apartments max.
Mm-hmm. So I'm at my apartment, and then my sister is at her boyfriend's house where he has a mic, and there I am currently recording.
Nice.
And there you have
Very
it.
nice. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Well,
yeah.
I also saw that he has what looks like a fire pit where they have lots of fun cocktails. Is that true? From
Yes,
Instagram?
So, yeah.
What a little magical backdoor outdoor nook.
The
I know.
dream.
Dream nook.
To the dream, to being outside forever.
Yep.
Yeah, no, he's slowly doing a food Instagram now is what it's becoming. They're making
Jeez.
salsa every day and
God.
starting
Salsa
fires.
every day. The height of
Mhm.
luxury.
Yeah, you've heard of yoga every damn day, and now it's salsa every damn day. That's,
Mango salsa Wednesdays. This
Making
time
it
we
happen.
use habaneros.
habanero.
Habaneros.
Making it happen.
Exactly.
Hannah, well, I know the answer to this question, but we usually start
Oh yes.
the show off by asking what your first D&D experience was, or how you first got into D&D.
So,
Yeah.
thanks to your fiance, Mariel. So I had just gotten back from Peace Corps, and Mariel was like, Nick, have Hannah be in your podcast. And I was like, okay. And so you guys, I thought I would just do like a background voice here or there and it'd be fine. And then you and Dylan and I got lunch, and you were like, so here's D&D, and told me so much information. And you're like,
So
it's
much.
going to be Southern. It's going to be a long time ago. We're going to have gospel music. You're going to maybe have this. And I'm like, aha. Also, you're going to be a main character.
I felt so bad. It was the most overwhelming. It's very hard to explain not just D&D, but how we're subverting D&D by doing like a specific extreme genre piece, which was Adversary. Your first thing was Ember in Adversary.
Right, which was very intense. So it was
It's
like, not
super
only did you
intense.
have to sell me on being on the podcast, but on D&D in general, which like when you have no experience with it, you're like, what are dice that aren't six-sided?
Yes.
So, but yeah, my
And
first
yeah.
time playing was when we did a practice round for Adversary. And I was like a lost little puppy. And I remember Dylan specifically being like, Elias takes Ember's hand and takes her over to this building. Because I was so lost and just had no idea. Like, I was very much in the like, I will sit back for a couple rounds and observe and hear what's going on and then get in there. And then I
But
think
you picked it
that
up
one,
so quickly.
oh yeah, and it was fun. I'm like, oh, I cut people with swords. Got it. And then
Got it.
that round ended with you taming a devil stallion
Yes.
And
That was
wanting
the
to name
practice round.
Our
Buttercup.
practice rounds are always pretty insanely
Buttercup.
off the rails on purpose.
And you did.
I did do it. I
You
was
did,
really
you did
upset
it.
that I didn't get to keep Buttercup for the actual podcast, but
Your
it was
demon
good.
horse mount.
Part of the process is that every season, kind of because we are trying to go in as prepared as possible, as players, we do a practice session where we just kind of like do everything that our character can do in like one session, where it's just like, let's try every spell and every weird ability and every feat and like all the stuff.
And our voices too, to say like, oh, is this the
Right,
direction I want to go in?
Yeah,
honestly, for me at this point, the practice session is purely for figuring out what the fuck my voice is, because I change so aggressive. Like I think the first time we did Blackstone in season 1, I started the session having like a basically Chuck voice, like a Brooklyn-y, like, hey, this is me, New York, and then like so aggressively bounced back and forth, like with Jack changing what we were doing, and then eventually landed on something.
You settled on, hey, mister.
Hey, mister, found your treasure.
Well, and I think that happened with Riff Rats, too, with you and Jasmine, because Cheeseburgers was originally supposed to be just, like, super naive and, like, very polite, and then it was kind of, like, too similar to Jasmine's, I think you were finding.
Yeah, that was, like, a big, awesome thing we did in the practice was kind of, like, figure out where, and we do this in all the seasons, but Riff Rats really helped, because figure out kind of what all of our lanes are as characters, where it's like Jasmine kind of became she kind of came in as a fish out of water type, which was awesome because it worked so well for us because she was a new member and all this stuff. And my whole bit in the beginning was kind of like, I don't know what anything is, like and I'm super gullible.
Right.
That was kind of like my angle, was that I was like, Cheeseburgers was going to be like super gullible and everyone can trick him super easily and all this stuff. And then it kind of became too similar to, like, you were right, it was like so similar to Jasmine. So I wound up kind of finding this like tough guy, but also friendly Canadian, like Letterkenny
fiercely
vibe.
Loyal.
Fiercely loyal, yeah.
Like peak Hufflepuff, kind of.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Those sessions are super important for me too, because usually before we get to the practice session, I have like a loose outline of how I think the campaign's going to go as like the DM, but I don't have any like B plot lines planned for like character arcs until that session is over and we have like a general idea of the relationships of the characters, even if it's barely fleshed out. By the time the first episode rolls around, once that's over, then like the B plot lines can actually come to fruition, which is cool. Especially with like, determining who the characters even are. Like, otherwise there's no reason to drive a wedge between Ray and Cheeseburgers with Bravas Boss. You know what I mean?
Right.
Having that be his angle, where he's specifically separating these two super loyal friends. Like, that's an important thing for the practice sesh too.
That episode just makes me like so upset because I rolled so horribly.
You rolled so trash.
I would have loved for that to be like kind of a great metaphor of like, F the patriarchy and women can do it. And it was like, apparently not today.
But it kind of works because it's like there's like both angles happening at the same time, where there's like this piece of shit like misogynistic asshole who's like ruining your combat, and then there's like me and Jasmine having this like wonderful moment on the other side of the glacier where I'm like not even attacking, I'm just like taking the help action so that she can shoot the robot. Like, but it's really, I mean, I think that episode is such proof that we don't write the show. I mean, like if we were writing the show, you would have like, killed that robot immediately and like
in 2 seconds
kicked Bravas Boss in the dick, and we would have flown out of there with the engine. But like instead you didn't shoot one time straight. It was a huge bummer.
Miss. I don't think I made a single one. Genuinely,
no, I think it was all
I missed every single which was cool.
But you got his guitar rifle.
Yeah,
so I got that. Gun.
I did, and then I used that to shoot Zilch.
Yes, you did. So there's
and that was the final blow to Zilch, technically.
I think that if we ever go back to Rift Rats and Bravas Boss is still cruising around the universe, I think maybe Bravas Boss's comeuppance will come someday.
Yes. Oh, big time. We will kill him for sure.
You gotta bring
turn
Ben
like
back
a
for
180, and he's like, I've realized
Yeah,
how
he's very.
crappy I've been. He's very like apologetic, and he's like
gone
reflective
through
now.
Alcoholics Anonymous, and he comes to like make
Be like
amends
apology,
for all of his
for
stuff.
forgiveness.
The way I was talking to you was borderline inappropriate, and I'm sorry.
Very sorry.
I've had a lot of time to think about how I talk to women.
And he'd have more eclectic posters. I loved that.
Yeah. It'd be like a Lana Dealry.
Yeah.
And I'm wanted.
I'm wanted. Oh god, Ben's whole read on that is so funny when
amazing.
He does the like I'm a cowman and on a steel cow I ride. And I'm wanted. And it just freezes.
Well, none of us were expecting that too. I think we were waiting for kind of some version of like Alive or Dead or whatever, and then he stopped and
he started Cowman, and I was like, is he misquoting it on purpose?
Cowman.
You genius.
Also, just saying cowman instead of cowboy is so funny to me.
It changes the word, doesn't it? It really makes you think of something different.
It makes you think of like a minotaur
man with udders?
that's like a cow. Yeah. Like, well, just like head of cow, cowman.
Cowman.
Oh God. Hannah, this kind of segues. So that Ember was your first character and first ever D&D character.
First of 3, very intense, dramatic.
She was like my baby.
Ember. Man, we loved Ember.
Loved her. Like I loved writing her backstory. I wrote like a chapter of like
Hannah sent when I asked for all of them, I hope to get like lots of backstory from all the PCs, and they usually send me something dope that I work into the whole story a little bit, even if it's just the kind of attitude. And Hannah wrote like an excerpt from a novel that was so dope and cool that I wish I had DM'd the session that the chapter was. Like it was such a fun thing. Do you want to talk about it, Hannah?
Sure.
I don't want to tell your story.
Oh, it's totally fine. I actually just got an idea. If we ever wanted to revisit that world, we could do like
a prequel with her cool demon killing team. Gang. Yeah, we could.
I would definitely. I would love to play
a 3-parter level 5.
One of that badass like team of demon hunters that.
Yes, and I had such cool names for them. Oh, what were they? Oh, they were so really cool. One was Gash. Like we were named after like momentous kind of moments in our demon hunter career.
Right. Wasn't it like named for your first like major wound? That was like.
Yeah. So there was like a gash. Like this guy had a cut. Surprise. And I can't remember. I think one was Whisper. She couldn't talk. She didn't have a tongue.
She had her tongue cut out or something.
Ripped out, yeah. And I can't remember the other one.
Do you know why yours was Ember, which is my favorite thing?
Yes. So mine was Ember. Originally, I was going to go with Ash, and then 2 similar to Pokemon, I think, at the end of the day.
There's only one Ash.
There's only one Ash.
And he catches them all.
And he catches them all, and that's
by definition.
Yes. And I killed them all. I killed all the demons. So different there.
Oh, yeah. Right.
But yeah, so the backstory I wrote, I wasn't sure. I remember at one point I was like, should there be dialogue in this? Because I was writing like very kind of pivotal scenes in like where
the answer was yes. You put in a lot of dialogue.
I did.
There's real deal dialogue.
Yeah, and there were different like kind of characters who influenced her life decisions. But basically left home. And without giving too much away, in case we do a prequel, would be cool. But she ends up kind of becoming part of this demon hunter gang. And when she just doesn't have a name until eventually she ends up killing this. Oh, I think this is the word Glabrezu.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I don't know where the emphasis on the syllables goes for that either. It could be Glabrezu, or it could be Glabrezu, or it could be Glabrezu. It literally could be all 3. I don't know, nor do I particularly care.
Yeah. We'll find out later.
Somebody will correct me, and then I'll go, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
But you killed a Glabrezu.
Okay.
Yes, in a burning building. We were in a burning building, and I either had to decide to like get out or kill it, and I realized that the only way that I could kill it was to topple the building on top of both of us. So
you like blow it up, take the building down.
Yeah. I don't know how I blew it up. We'll work that out later. But I was thinking like cut a structural beam.
Yes, that is actually, I think you kicked out like the structural beam while
as it was burning.
I full on renovated the house, tore it down. And then as I was crawling out, I like burned my back on the embers of the log, hence the name Ember, which I was very excited to come
Pretty
up
cool.
with.
Pretty freaking cool.
It was so cool. And also, it's very, that I think I have such a clear memory of, I felt so bad for, like, Dylan and I had 2 lunches with you where we just dumped so much shit into your
You just
brain.
yelled D&D at me
Just
for
so
a
much,
couple hours.
and Dylan and I came out of it being like, oh my God, I think we like completely scared her off from this whole thing. She's never going to do this. And then you sent me an email like almost the next day or like 2 days later with the full written backstory. And I was like, she's got it. Like, she understands what we're going
It'll
for.
be fine.
It's going to be fine. Like, because that's like, I mean, exactly what we're looking for with player characters, especially, is like people who get that into writing the full backstory and like getting, really like biting into like the storytelling aspects of Hero Club and like having all that stuff, even if it doesn't come up.
Mm-hmm. And to find out like what drives you as a character, like when you find out or when you create that for yourself, it makes you so much more driven. Even as a character, not on Hero Club, when you're just playing D&D, like figuring out your backstory, figuring out where you've been through and what has molded you into the character you are at that moment helps you so much with where you're going to go or why you're doing the things you're doing. Because I've made characters before just for fun. And I'm like, oh, this will be great. And I'm like, oh, what? How should I be? I don't know. I didn't figure this out.
Take me back to acting school, baby.
I think so many people neglect. I mean, and I was the same way when we first started playing, George. It in the beginning, it's like all about what you can do. And now I'm like way more excited about like who the character is and like what's an interesting thing about this character. Like when I go sit down to make a character now, it's always like, ooh, I want to make a guy who is like, has like a lost brother, and that's his whole drive is like hunting down his brother, but he's blind.
Yeah, I do. I impose a lot of restrictions on characters I make now on purpose. Like, he won't touch gold, so that I can't buy any cool stuff, but like have to rely on natural things or things I find. Or I go completely pacifist for a game or something like that. I don't really play a lot, so these are all kind of characters I make up and then never touch. But
nice.
It's
I love stuff like
that. Yeah. What do you think? I know Ember holds such a big place in your heart, Hannah. But do you think she's your favorite character, or do you have another character you've played in Hero Club that you like more?
That's like such a hard question for me because I love Ember so much, and I am a different version of Lilia, so it's like she's not too far off. I have slightly more intelligence and wisdom than the girl, than Lilia. But I loved just like accent wise and being like a fun, happy-go-lucky monkey on a pirate ship was so fun. I also did love being Holly in terms of being able to do my Scottish accent was so fun.
In Oh Holy Nights. Yeah.
The Christmas ones have been really fun.
Special.
I think I agree with you. I think that Here to the Remonsters is maybe the most fun season to play that we've done. Like looking back, like I don't know if Drake is my favorite character, but I do think he was the most fun to play because that whole season is so big and silly, and there's like so many crazy big swashbuckling set pieces happening all the time, and like it was just really fun to like swing on ropes onto a thing, or there were so many kind of like
these wet hands.
Curse these wet hands.
I've also listened to Here They Be Monsters so many times because like
why will you explain that?
Yes, so with the kids I
my
nanny
favorite detail.
with the kids I nanny, it was around Christmas time. I think I can't remember when Santa's Little Helpers came out, but I was like, hey, this will be fun to listen to, your guys. There's no swear words in it or anything, so we listened to it and they loved it to the point where I was like, oh no, this is all we're ever going to listen to ever. So I've listened to Santa's Little Helpers. I don't even know how many times, to the point where on the D&D game I played yesterday I referenced Dylan climbing up the cave with his cymbals, or climbing up the side of the canyon with his cymbals one at a time to 80s music in the background. I've listened to that so many times. And so when Here There Be Monsters came out, which was a big driving force, I think, in us not using any cuss words, and kind of making that whole list, like obviously not the driving.
making a season every 2 or 3 seasons where it was like PG or G-rated language for sure.
With alternate with like alternate swears, which was a really fun challenge too, because we all have filthy sailor mouths. Everyone in Hero Club, it has the worst vocabulary, like worse than a naval. Like worse than a naval ship in like 1750. Like everyone is, we cuss like crazy. The amount of swears that I cut out in any given episode, just not even in character, just like
figuring out, trying to figure out what you want to say.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Here the Monsters was a fun exercise in that, because we really had to pick and choose what those swears were and use them creatively to make funny jokes and stuff like that.
Do it for the kids, baby. Do it for the kids.
Exactly. And so because of that,
your kids had at one point Legos that denoted all of our characters in Santa's Little Helpers, right?
Oh my god.
The actually in both, the boy ended up like having this crazy pirate hat, and so he would put on his pirate hat and a sword, and he would be like, "What how?" and like running across the room. And
the dream.
Yeah, so he also had like Legos, and he'll be like, "This is Swapper, and this one's Helga," and then, so he would like had all those. So Here There Be Monsters was great because it basically just gave us stuff to listen to when we were in the car all the time.
Right, 10 full episodes.
You're welcome.
Yeah, 11. They're 11 hours.
11 episodes.
Yeah.
11 for Here There Be Monsters. Yeah, wow.
So there's a lot, and even now, like stuff that Carson, my sister, and I, like, there's a lot we say where I'm kidding, which was your line from like, we can't not listen to the little vines. I'm kidding. We often say we would like a GIF of Nick Williams saying "I'm kidding," just so we can, because right now we'll just say
that happen. We gotta send that everywhere.
Yes, right now we'll just say parentheses Nick Williams voice, "I'm kidding," and that'll be
I'm kidding.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, so that's what's lived on with that.
Carson Fagerbakke. Many of you have heard Carson Fagerbakke on the show multiple times.
Yeah, the Fagerbakke sisters.
Fagerbakke sisters have made appearances.
I wrote her into Here There Be Monsters.
Yes, you did.
And Rift Rats.
And Rift Rats.
But Here There Be Monsters, I just kind of was like, Drake, is your lady still out there? Just kind of as a thing.
So last episode we got a question about, is there anything like we had expectations for, like, is there a season that you had expectations for that got completely subverted and you went into a different direction that was like interesting?
And George talked about that one episode of Riff Rats where,
yes,
where you
crazy.
Effed everything. Everything I had planned. And you effed it, Hannah. You effed it right in the end.
I'm not even sorry, George.
But for me, on like a player character standpoint, I had like all of this shit for Drake, like this full, deep, like we said, we write all these like deep backstories, and I had all this shit planned. And we got into episode 4 or 5, and we had that, you sang the song "The Silver Lady," which is like one of the most beautiful songs ever that Matt McCollum has written, which was great. Song. Such a good song. And you gave me like the greatest character gift, like improv gift, which was like, do you miss her, or is she still out there, right? Do
you think she's still out there?
You think? And I was just like, fuck everything else, this is my whole backstory, this is the drive, I'm just gonna like fully, because
you also very easily could have been like, the fuck are you talking about? The roach are you talking about, lady?
Of course. But like it's such a great gift to be like, this is why, like it makes the character so much richer. And it also made our relationship, like our two characters' relationship, so much better. To like that,
because then I knew about it.
And you cared about it, and like very few other people knew about it. So it like really enhanced our character relationship and like all of that
Right.
stuff. It was great. It was so
Like
good.
I wasn't just the monkey in the top part. Who was dumb.
The monkey in the top part.
Yes.
That's
Monkey
my
in the top
autobiography.
part.
It's going to be called The Monkey in the Top Part.
Yep. Yes. A Hannah Fagerbakke story.
Yes.
The monkey.
Yeah. She was actually Lilia was probably the least backstory, except for the Christmas arcs, which were just 3 episodes. But like,
Right.
I didn't write a full, like Reagan's backstory I worked on for like, oh my God, weeks. I was
another novel chapter.
It was so long.
It was so fun to read.
I'm so sorry. Okay, good.
No,
you liked
fun to read. Fun to read. I love reading
they're
those.
so
Yeah,
great.
they're so fun.
Yeah,
they gave
I
me
think
so much to go on.
But for Lilia, I did and I set the font to like super childish handwriting style. And I did diary entries. I don't know if you remember that. It's like, dear diary, today I watched the boats from my house. And like, I just did that. And the last one was like, I'm going to take a nap on the ship. And that was how I joined the ship. Yeah. So I had a lot of fun with that.
Oh,
yeah. And I remember I actually wrote like a chapter for Ember, which I don't know if I ever sent to you, George. I think I did. This was like after the fact, and I was bored one day, and I was like, I'm going to write this.
I don't think you did send it to me.
It was like a day in the life. Maybe I sent it to you. I don't know why. I don't know where it went. But
yeah, like when you were
I'll send it to you again. Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it was. It would have been like pre Elias going to.
I think I did read it then.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was
chasing a cat into like a barn, and then there's like
yes.
And we met my dad and my mom and Elias and kind of saw their dynamic and saw where that came from, which was fun. It's so fun It's fun, man. That's it.
It's so fun, man. D&D is so fun, man.
Yeah. The character building part is like my absolute favorite part. I still like on D&D Beyond. I will, if I'm bored, just like do that for random characters that I'll probably never play. Just like, oh, this guy is like, he lives in the mountains and he has like a little bit of magic, but not enough to actually get by. It's just kind of like so he can light fires for himself and survive, and like it's all about survivalism for him. Like I'm never gonna play that guy, but like it's fun to like come up with a kooky name, and I have him.
Yep, just in case.
It's great. Yeah. Well, George, should we go into our next segment here?
Oh yes, a little D&D travel edition.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get a theme song in here.
Where were you hiding the guitar?
Theme song panda. Yeah, it just came out of nowhere.
You both are so good at guitar.
I'm so good at guitar.
So much. I practice.
So good.
For those of you who haven't listened to the show before, D&D Travel Edition is our super stripped down, super bare bones version of D&D that George and I used to play when we were waiting in line for food, or at a party that sucked, or
getting your nails done,
drunk, and we didn't have anything better to do on a Friday. It is a really, really, really simple way to get into D&D and really fun. And how it works is all you need is a D20, and
which we all have,
and you have no bonuses, and you just roll to see if what you do fails or succeeds. And if you get above a 10, you succeed, and if it's below a 10, you fail, and that's it. George, do you want to set up a scenario for us?
Yes. Okay.
Where are we going?
All I need you guys to do, first off, is give me odd or even, which will determine your role and your ROLE role in this little one-off. Okay, so Hannah has chosen even.
Then I guess I am odd.
It is even
too. Ooh,
Hannah, would you like to play the hero or the villain?
Oh, I don't know. I had so much fun playing the villain in the Wild Hunt. That was fun.
That was the scariest thing I've ever
thing ever
in my life.
It was new for you guys. It was like when Gabe and Ryan went villain for Riff Rats, and we were like, Gabe, has this been inside you forever?
What I've learned is that our friends really want to kill us very badly. That's what I've learned from
when they're given the opportunity, they try very hard. That's true.
Yes.
So that was a very long way to say I'll be the villain.
Okay.
Hannah will be the villain. Nick, it's been a long trek through the desert. You adjust your 1800s cool hat. Your Western hat.
Is it the 1800s?
Yeah, it is. It is the late 1800s in the middle of Death Valley.
Ooh.
Hannah Fagerbakke, the outlaw who has plundered many a bank and killed many a man, with a wanted price on her head that is
So high.
High for the time.
High for the time, which is
200 whole dollars.
a whole 200 cents for Hannah Fagerbakke's capture, aka 40 years of food. That's how inflation works. But you've tracked her to a ghost town where many of her cohorts and her gang members lay in wait for you. They weigh in late. They weighed in too late and missed the Jenny Craig weight loss contest.
They lost the biggest loser.
Oh man. So Nick, you stroll into town, and Hannah, what have you set up for Nick when he walks into town? What does he encounter?
Do I know he's coming?
Oh
to get
yeah,
me?
you've known this guy for a long time. You've escaped him every time before this, but this is your final showdown.
I would like to be sitting in a very elaborate chair, kind of at the end of the only road in town. Yeah.
Yes.
I
You're
almost said,
picturing
like,
what I'm picturing.
The alley, yeah.
Yeah.
With I would like my cronies kind of lining the path.
Yes.
to me.
Okay. So they form. There are 10 of them, 5 on each side.
My cowboy name is Spittin' Rooster Kramer. That's my character name for this.
What's your character name for this, Hannah?
Let's go with friggin'
Kissing Kate Barlow.
I was gonna say that too.
It's hard not to. I'll be what's the donkey's name in Holes? Did he have a name?
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou.
Mary Lou. I'll be Mary Lou.
Okay.
Shout out to the donkey in Holes.
Shout out to that Holes donkey.
I can fix that.
I can fix that.
Oh God.
Oh, okay. So Mary Lou sits in the very ornate throne-like chair at the end of the city street. Nick strolls into town with a cling, cling, cling as his spurs spin, and we just see only his boots, and then we pan up his back and see his bearded, dusty face.
Tight butt.
His toy butt. We pan past his toy butt.
Thank you.
And then up to Nick's face and the cool line that Rooster Kramer says.
Oh, it's Spittin' Rooster Kramer.
Rooster Kramer spits in the dirt.
He spits and says, little low on spittoons for a shithole. That's how he talks.
That's great. Wouldn't change it.
I'm here to collect my revenge.
Mary Lou, you want us to take care of this piece of shit?
Jones.
Yes, that is my name.
Get him.
Yeah. Jones starts taking off on his own. He is Mary Lou's #1 attack dog crony, and he meets Spittin' Rooster Kramer in the middle of the square and says, "You ever drawn 10 paces?"
Spittin' Rooster Kramer shoots him dead where he stands.
On attack.
I'm the hero, but I don't have to be honorable.
Sure, don't.
11.
Oh man, 4 for Jones. So his bullet goes wide, and you peg him right between the eyes with that cold hot steel, and he drops into the dirt.
I do like a.
Yeah, we can all see that.
Some fun.
Yeah.
That's for the folks at home. That's
he was breakdancing.
I was breakdancing.
We're trying to
Rooster Kramer does his patented pop and lock routine.
Great. So you drop one of the 10 bad guys into the dirt, and then they all scatter and start shooting you from barrels. Both of you will have 30 HP to start with, so keep on track of it. Nick, let's see how many of these bullets make their way towards you. I'm just going to roll 1 for all 9 attacks. That is going to be only 1 hit. You are going to take 6 damage. Mary Lou, what is your move?
For color, can I have someone that looks exactly like Marty behind my chair going, woo, wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah.
Ooh, wah, wah, wah.
Yes, that's what I
I'm
want.
Marty.
I
Hey
love
guys,
you.
I'm Marty.
Perfect.
That's Marty impression.
Is
Sorry,
that your
Marty.
full action? Is just telling
No.
that guy to do his job?
Mary Lou brings out, hiding from behind the chair, Mary Lou pulls out an elaborately decorated rifle, which she aims right at Spittin' Joe Bargain. What's your name?
That's it. Spittin' Joe Bargain. That was it. Roll your attack.
Perfect.
Joe Bargain. Like I own a mattress sales. Like I'm a mattress salesman who has great discounts.
I stole all of your goods, and that's why you wrought revenge. I also rolled an 18.
18. Blam. Nick, this bullet tears through your left shoulder. You're going to take another 6 damage. You are reduced to, I think you got 18 now, right?
I do.
Okay, what is your special move?
Spittin' Joe Bargain. His true name having been revealed.
I'm so sorry, but I'm not.
Lights a Molotov cocktail and throws it right at the whistling Marty guy. Standing with the intention of exploding into Hannah's radius.
Hold on. Should I call Marty right now and get him to do a, hey, can you scream like you're on fire?
You won't understand what's happening.
He'll have too many questions.
That's true.
That's okay.
It'll take way too long.
Roll that attack to see how many of these
why
guys
am I on
you get.
fire?
Oh, you're not on fire. Let's see how many guys are behind Marty.
10.
Oh, man. There's only a couple of guys behind Marty, but man, is that a hit for Marty.
Great.
Two men, including Marty, go up in flames, and they go down. So that's
they were my favorite.
Down to 7 cronies. And now they all return fire as some of them duck behind barrels to avoid any future Molotov cocktails. This will only be 1 hit against you, Nick. You were going to take 2 damage, just a couple of bullets grazing as you take cover behind what?
A man wearing a barrel as an outfit.
Wait, please! I'm just passing through.
He's in front of your bargain store.
Yeah.
He's advertising for your bargain store.
Yes. He's a prospector I hired.
This wasn't part of the job description. I don't want to be. All right, great. Mary Lou.
I would like to run over to the opposite side of the road to get a good shot at Nick. Excuse me, Spittin' Joe Bargain.
Spittin' Joe Bargain. Roll your fancy attack, please.
7.
7, a miss. The bullet effectively is lodged in the barrel of the man wearing the barrel costume. Oh, that was close.
And can I bonus action to hide behind the balcony of a balcony
Sure.
that I'm on or something? Sure.
Yeah. You take that bonus action to do whatever you want. That's fine. You get behind the balcony. Mary Lou takes cover.
Yeah.
Spittin' Joe
lights 2 sticks of dynamite and throws them at the balcony.
Oh man. Roll your attack.
3.
Both dynamite are thrown very short. They crater a whole bunch of space in front of Spittin' Joe open, and now there's just a big open cavern below Spittin' Joe. The mobsters, the time-traveling mobsters, the gangsters, no, what would you call them?
Cronies?
Outlaws. The outlaws respond.
Bandits.
They all take a couple of shots. Oh man, Spittin' Joe is lit up by a spray of fire. Spittin' Joe, you will take 8 more damage. What are you at right now, Spittin' Joe?
Oh my god, 8.
Hey, this is how it be sometimes, folks.
Sometimes this is just how it is.
Sometimes the hero doesn't win, baby. Mary Lou.
Mary Lou, pulling out her own stick of dynamite from her pocket, lights it and attempts to pitch it to herself and whack it across the gap like a baseball with her rifle. And she gets an 8.
Mary Lou, you effectively blow up 6 of your own men.
What?
Yeah.
Waste the space.
Only 1 crony remains facing off with Spittin' Joe. You're never gonna get to Mary Lou while I'm alive.
Spittin' Joe puts his 2 fingers in his mouth and whistles, a thing that Nick Williams can't do. And a pack
Hannah and I
mule
got it.
sprints out from around the corner, decked to the teeth with lit dynamite sticks, and running straight for the hidey hole that Mary Lou is in.
I will roll for this for Mary Lou. I will roll for this donkey's heroic sacrifice. I rolled
The hero's death of this donkey.
The hero's death of the donkey. I rolled a 17, so the building comes down in a massive explosion. Hannah, Mary Lou will take 6 damage from the force of the explosion, and then we'll take a further 8 damage from the fall.
Yes.
And you are now trapped under a pile of wood.
Okay. Mary Lou crawls out and finds.
Well, you gotta roll for that crawl out.
Oh, you do. You got to push those beams off of you, Mary Lou.
I do it. You watch. 11.
11. That is a success. She gets the beam right off of her, throws it down onto the ground.
And I find just a bunch of spare nails.
God.
And so I would like to put them in one of my cronies' guns and shoot them at Nick's.
Yes.
Spit in Joe's face.
You do that in 3 seconds. Nails, crony's gun, in the gun. The gun fires.
2.
Okay, good thing you put it in your crony's hand. His hand blows off as the nails scatter everywhere. And he passes out from the shock of it. Just, oh, my hand! And then, ka-goomph, leaving just the hero and his rival, the villain and her foil, in the street alone.
Yeah, I'm sorry about your brother.
I'll tell you what I tell my customers. You'll be spitting with disbelief when you get a bargain from Joe. Spitting Joe bargain, draws his revolver and fires.
Roll your attack.
8.
Miss Mary Lou.
And I'll tell you what your customers say. What's your return policy? And I shoot at him. I botched.
No!
No!
Yeah. Sometimes the hero does win.
Let's roll for the severity of this botch.
It could be super low.
I rolled a 74.
Not that low.
The gun jams, giving Spittin' Joe a free attack with advantage.
Haha.
Sacre bleu.
He takes it. 15.
Mary Lou takes 6 more damage as she is struck in the shoulder, diving behind a whole bunch of what, Hannah?
Corpses.
Yuck. Okay. I was hoping barrels, but corpses work too. What HP total are we both at? Let's check in.
8.
10.
Ooh, 8 and 10. All right. 10. Who is next?
I think it's me.
Spittin' Joe.
Mary Lou.
Oh, it is Mary Lou. Mary Lou, what is your response?
I would like to blah, 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 blah. That's my heart.
I'm getting up on that mic doing that heartbeat sound.
I aim to break it.
Oh my God.
My gun's useless, right?
Your gun is useless.
Okay, well, luckily the corpses have guns because
of course they do.
Mm-hmm.
They
of
sure did.
course they do.
Fuck.
I'm sorry. I'll leave.
You can sign off.
Okay, cool.
Do your
she
thing.
grabs 2 pistols, jumping out from the side, and shoots at Spittin' Joe.
Okay, roll an attack.
Please use my full name.
14. Spittin' Joe bargain.
Spittin' Joe, you will take 7 damage, bringing you down to 1 health point, I believe.
Yes.
Spittin' Joe, your response?
Spittin' Joe throws off his duster coat, which is also strapped to the teeth with dynamite. Lights them
Joe's
all and
final move.
Sprints at Mary Lou, aiming to tackle her and blow himself up in the process.
Both of you roll opposed grapple checks, so just whoever gets higher.
I'm just trying to get close.
Oh,
It's
I
a
know.
lot of dynamite.
Mine's not good.
What is it?
4.
19.
Spittin' Joe, you wrap your arms around Mary Lou. You both have 4 seconds before the dynamite all goes.
I scream, 60% off Labor Day sale. Now that's a Joe bargain.
And it's a commercial, right? The
Call
whole thing was a commercial.
1-800-SPIT-AND JOE BARGAIN.
Spittin' Joe.
Located in Danbury, Connecticut.
So yet again, we have a D&D travel edition where both people die a horrific death.
Yes.
That's kind of the only way these end is everybody. My mom gave me a really fun bit of her opinion on these where she goes, I love getting to know you guys. I don't get the part where you play D&D. I like it.
You know when you do the thing you do? I don't like it.
She goes, I like it when there's sound effects and music. I don't know why I made my mom from like hardcore Staten Island. She is not. I don't know why. What up with all these dice rollings? That's my mom.
Well, that was D&D Travel Edition.
D&D Travel Edition. Thanks for tolerating that, Mom.
Thank you for tolerating that, Mrs. Primavera.
Thanks, George's mom. I don't know you.
She's an angel.
I've heard.
We are coming close to the end here. We'll just do one question today. It's from a good friend of the show, Ben Doyle. He does all He does all of the violin and mandolin scoring for Hero Club. He's done in this recent season. Every time you hear Marble Mouth's violin, that's Ben. Anytime you hear like our fun mandolin, like fun party music, and Here There Be Monsters, that's Ben.
Yep,
lots of
fiddle music. Yeah,
made a lot of fun score for us. And
I can't wait to meet him one day.
Oh,
he's the best guy. You'll love him.
Have you told him his name thing? That was bad that I came up with?
You should, because he'll listen to this, so you might as well put it on.
Yeah, tell Ben.
Yeah. So it reminds me, no, it doesn't remind me. I just kind of thought of it when talking to Nick, like Ben Doyle. And I was like, oh, like Ben Doyle to the front, touch your toes. And I don't know why that's what I thought of, but.
I don't know why you did either, but every time I said Ben Doyle, you said Ben Doyle to the front, touch your toes every single time.
Or Ben Doyle, make your knees touch your elbows. That's another one.
Another good one. Ben, congratulations. You've heard that now.
You've made it.
Ben Doyle asks, all of you are very talented voice actors, and I've heard you do many different accents over different seasons of the podcast.
Oh.
Is there an accent that you can't do and dread trying?
Oh my God.
Ooh, that is a good question.
I can go first.
Yeah, please.
I am terrified to do a Scottish accent because I think that I've talked to Dylan about this a lot. We both have this thing. We have reverse accent issues where I can do an Irish accent but not a Scottish accent. He can do a Scottish accent but not an Irish accent. And I think that there is like a dichotomy there where if you nail one really, like you're on one hard, it's much harder to get the other one because they're so adjacent but also incredibly dissimilar.
You know what you're listening to. Like, you know, if someone's speaking in one of those, you know what it is. So it's not one that you can just hope for the best and hope it's one of them.
Totally.
Right. Yeah, that one's hard. I mean,
Scottish probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Hannah?
I don't know, dude. I mean, like, I think for me, I only like to do things that I feel confident in. So I don't know, like, even with Irish, like for this new season of Hank Blackstone, I know there was, like, we weren't kind of sure where I was going to land, but, like, Irish was a possibility, and my Irish isn't nearly as good as my Scottish, but I can, like, do a stereotypical one for sure, but I think that would be, in terms of, like, I could do, you know, in terms of, like, that, I could do Australian probably just fine. South African is one where, like,
a famously difficult one.
Yeah. Well, even, like, what was that?
South African.
Even when I was like living over there in that part of the world, I couldn't really get it. And
very good, Hannah.
Well, but I'm not confident that that's. Well, it's passable, yeah. So it's
idiot. That's very good.
I'm here to show
Damn
the
it.
fuck
So
off.
Hannah's answer is no
Hannah's, I
accent
can do
scares me.
everything.
I can do it all.
Uh,
George,
It's
what
like,
about you?
not with everything. It's certain things.
For me, it's I have trouble with Scottish, but I'm working on it. Sometimes I nail it, and sometimes I don't get close. My big problem lies in any English that is not RP. I can only do like very high class RP British, but when it gets to like trying to do
Like East
region,
London.
Like a
yeah, like
non-stereotypical.
this, like I don't know that accent. It always
Can you do
sounds.
Cockney? Cockney's a good different one. It's
So-
just vowels. It's just vowels.
Don't do it. You'll embarrass us all.
Yeah, I know the theory behind Cockney, and I could probably get a sentence out, but I don't wanna.
Yeah, without it sounding
I'm
like
too
a
afraid.
cartoon.
My favorite accent to do is definitely German, like 100%.
Your German is so good.
It's very good.
It's very good.
Do you guys have a favorite that you do?
I'm very proud of my Drake RP.
Your Drake
my
RP is great.
Matt Berry from Stephen Toast RP British accent. I mean, all of this is to say, every time I do any character with an accent, I like buy tapes and like aggressively study them. But that was probably the one I like the most that I've done.
That's a great one.
Yeah. I mean, mine, I have to go. I do like, which actually is coming, I don't know how far in advance we can talk about Hero Club, but my my accent for the next one, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do really like.
Oh yeah. City of Mirrors.
Chocolate sponge, so like an old English woman on Great British Baking Show. Excuse me, the Bake Off. That's always fun. But like at the end of the day, Scottish is my favorite. It's like
so good. It's
my
impeccable.
favorite, and it's I think the first accent I knew how to do because I watched Lord of the Rings so much, and Pippin is Scottish, and so that was just kind of how I learned that one. So even from like high school and stuff, people were like, what's your Scottish? Do it. And I do it. And that was
boom. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Well,
Fagerbakke.
Well,
that was my party trick. Yeah.
As always, if you have any questions for us or the guest, we'll start letting you know who the guest is ahead of time. So you can
probably should do that.
If you have any questions for us or about Hero Club in general, DM us on Instagram or hit us up on Twitter or Facebook and ask us questions.
George, if it's not too late.
You have a question for me? Oh, please.
I
do. What's your question?
It was kind of, we almost touched on it earlier, and I wanted to dive into it a little deeper, but then we circled away from it. And I don't know if you've bringing it back, baby. Do you have like certain ideas? And I think you might have touched on this a little bit in the past episodes, but do you have like start off with certain ideas of how you want character relationships to go? Like, does that go into the planning at all of this season? Like, I'm sure by this point they'll be a little closer. Like at this point, like maybe there'll be a rift here.
Yeah.
Or do you just let that happen?
Well, I guess that varies per season, depending on how important the relationship is to the actual full plot. Like for this season of Blackstone, when we only have 2 PCs, the whole thing kind of has to become their relationship. So I do a lot of planning around that, and I do a lot of like preparing non-combat encounters, so to speak. Like in my mind, every time in this season, if you're listening to Paid Back in Spades, every time Charlie, played by Jack Quaid, speaks to Millie, played by Natasha Krause.
Love that so much.
Yeah, in my head, that is a non-combat encounter in which Charlie is trying to make like deception checks and persuasion checks to try to like leave a positive impression. Deception checks meaning like, I'm in the library late at night because I left my shoes, or whatever the dumb lie he said was, because Charlie is panicking. You know what I mean? But when it comes to like Here There Be Monsters, like the only thing I had nothing really planned for anybody's personal relationship. It was going to be completely based on what you guys wanted to do with each other until you dropped the do you think she's coming? Do you think she's still out there? And then I wrote 3 episodes of the campaign that I hadn't written yet. Like I was like, cool. So now I know now I had no idea where I wanted to go after Denna Cruz.
Now it has to go there.
But I knew that I wanted to get to an encounter with the Queen, and I maybe wanted to get to the carnivore if he was killed in the first, whatever. But I had no idea what I was going to do for like 3 episodes. And then that came in and filled it in, and it connected me to the other stuff. So,
great.
does that? I didn't answer your question.
No, you kind of did. I mean, like
Kinda though,
you don't plan for it, like,
but I use
but
it
you use it
to
to
my
influence.
advantage.
Right.
Yeah, I use it to
and you
connect stuff
plan.
through.
You probably. I'd say you plan once we get going, and if something big has happened relationship wise, then you plan after that. Like if
Yes,
something.
and I plan after for sure. Yes,
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's a great.
that's a
question.
great question. Yeah,
Because that definitely does affect like certain characters a big like
for
Hank and
sure.
Charlie. A huge thing is their relationship this time, but
Right.
Huge. It's a main focus, and we're like playing into this whole thing about like how friends don't tell each other certain things, no matter how close they are. And we're like kind of living that out real at the table while sometimes Nick and Jack are doing things that the other character wouldn't know about. We're making the other person wear headphones so they can't hear what's going on.
Which is
Uh,
different than what we. Oh, or actually, when we got our boons in Here There Be Monsters, I remember that was
happened,
fun
yeah.
Yeah.
because we would all just go outside and we're like,
Because
"What
no
did you
one
guys
knew that
get?"
Drake had gills.
Yeah,
Elena,
we're like,
Elena
"What did you
Maria
get, Nick?"
Consuela. Yeah.
Oh my god, I
Yeah,
love that episode so much. It's
Nat,
one of my favorites to listen
You
back
like
to.
soup?
Nat and Kevin
Would you like
Stafford
soup?
crushed that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was so good.
Well, guys, I think we got a wrap. That's our time.
Oh
But
man. Thank you.
Yay.
Hannah,
Hannah will be back on in the future. So if you have any questions for her, please hit us up with them. We're gonna probably try to get like
Yes.
PCs for
Fagerbakke
each campaign.
sisters
We'll get the
together.
Fagerbakke sisters together to talk about them
do
both.
it.
So Hannah will
Hannah,
be back.
Do you have anything to plug, and where can people find you on social media?
I don't really. I mean, if you want, my Instagram's there. Hannah Loves CSUN, which is CSON. That's my sister's name.
Oh,
There you have it.
Very
Hers
cool.
Instagram is just her name, so that's cool.
Not
Or as-
mutual.
As George would say, so that's cool.
we deleted
That's
it.
cool.
We deleted
I
it.
know. That is a huge point of sadness in
Yeah, well,
my
you'll be
with
okay.
my well, yeah, my
You'll be
dad
fine.
my dad still says it all the time. You'll be
That
happy
makes
to know.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
So yeah, I'm there if you want. Wear a face mask, wash your hands, have a good time.
Hey,
Awesome.
yes, please.
Be
Well,
Be
kind.
safe, everybody.
Be kind to people.
Aw.
Yeah.
Stay safe out there, and thank you so much for coming on, Hannah. It was so good to see you.
Of
and
course. It was
talk.
so nice to see your guys' faces. Nick, your beard
I
looks
know.
great.
Thank
I
you
know,
very
I
much.
miss you guys.
Miss you too, and
Yeah.
miss
we'll
you.
talk to you real soon. We'll get you back
All
on the
right.
show.
Thanks for
Yay.
listening, everybody.
Make sure you follow us on Hero Club Podcast on Instagram and across the board on Twitter and Facebook.
Our website,
And, yeah,
HeroClubPodcast.com. Sorry, HeroClubPodcast.com is our website. You can find all of our episodes up there as well.
and
Do
this
it.
coming Tuesday there will be a new episode of sorry, not Here the Three Monsters of
Paid
our
Back
Hank
in Spades.
Blackstone Paid Back in Spades with Anthony Starr from The Boys on it, which is
Ooh.
very good.
Yeah.
Homelander from The Boys, he's great, and it's a really fun episode, so don't miss it.
He got
thank
really
you.
dope and actory on. Like I loved it. It was so
Yeah,
fun.
really
He got like
deep.
really like methody at the
Yeah.
table. So fun.
It was great. So thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
And
Yeah,
tell
thanks,
other
guys.
people about the podcast. These
Leave a
boys
review.
work really, really hard.
We
They do so
do.
much work. It's their
Tell your
baby.
friends. Thank
They
you,
don't have
Hannah.
pets. They have this.
See you soon, guys.
Hannah. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Welcome to Hero Club, members only. Glad to have you. This is where we talk about all the things that we don't get to say on the show, 'cause that's not our thing. Welcome to Hero Club, members only.